My name is Veronika Ryjik. I'm the chair of the Spanish department and the organizer of this event. Thank you all for coming here. I wanted to thank our wonderful presenters and our terrific keynote speaker for making their way to Villanova to share their expertise on artificial intelligence and languages, literatures, and cultures. It's a very special topic. I also wanted to take this opportunity to thank other people who made this event possible. We have a very long list of sponsors, and I'm just going to read through it very quickly. And I promise it's not going to be like an Oscar speech. I'm not going to thank my mom and my cats. But first of all, I wanted to thank our dean's office, our dean, for letting me use the GRASP fund, which is the Villanova's, the college's grant for research for arts and sciences professors, to organize this event. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been possible. And we also got money from all kinds of centers and departments: the Class Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee, Department of Education and Counseling, of English, of Global Interdisciplinary Studies, of Spanish, the Disability and Deaf Studies Program, French and Francophone Studies Program, Italian Studies Program, Center for Arab and Islamic Studies, Center for Irish Studies. I'm really grateful for all of these contributions because that coffee is really expensive, as I found out. So we've used every single penny, and we're incredibly grateful to everybody who has contributed to this event. Now, Dean Lindenmeyer is hopefully going to make it. She has another engagement that came up last minute. She should be here to basically inaugurate the symposium. She's the one who made it possible, and without her support, we also wouldn't have, this wouldn't have happened. And Kevin, thank you for coming, and also thank you for supporting the event, our Associate Dean of Research. I also wanted to, even though they're not here, but those of you who were traveling know, we have two fantastic administrators, one for Spanish and one for French and Italian, Anne-Marie Joyce and Grace Park. They do all the invisible work, and they made your travel and stay possible, and the expensive coffee and everything else that will happen during the symposium. So I'm not going to speak for a long time, but I wanted to basically, as an introduction, I think that if you're already in this room, I don't think I need to explain why it's important to speak about this. We all understand the meaning and the importance of these new technologies for our future, our profession, and our students. But I wanted to explain maybe how an early modern Spanish scholar with zero experience in digital humanities and no knowledge of computer programming. Python is a snake, and API stands for apple pie ingredients. So how it happened that I organized a symposium on artificial intelligence in language, literature, and culture pedagogy. And so very briefly, I think when I think back to almost 2 years ago when ChatGPT first became available to the public, I think about my family, comprised of 2 academics and then a slightly precocious kindergartner. And I think that the reactions in our family were pretty representative of what was going on in the world of academia elsewhere. Mine was probably overly optimistic. I have a new toy, and it's going to make me the best teacher in the world by Monday. My husband's was overly skeptical. I'm going back to blue books. I'm sure you've heard some version of that somewhere else. And my then 5-year-old just wanted to play with it. Now, in the past 2 years, I think we've all learned a lot. I learned definitely a lot about all the issues that come with using this tool. And I think that some of these issues, both logistical, but also ethical and even philosophical, will be discussed at some point during this symposium. I know at least there are some presentations that will address that. My husband is still using Blue Books, but he has also learned that our now 7-year-old is very good at bypassing parental controls. And that, ironically, ChatGPT is very good at giving us tricks and strategies on how to avoid our 7-year-old bypassing parental controls. And my 7-year-old still wants to play with it. And so I think that one of the lessons that I've learned from my personal experience is that this is a new technology we cannot ignore because they will want to play with it, right? You know, when we think about our students, they're all using it, and whether we want to talk about how to prevent them from cheating or how to teach them how to use it, we have to talk about it, right? And from several workshops that were organized here, one thing that came up that I think that there's a consensus on, even among faculty who still uses Blue Books, is that AI literacy is crucial. And so from the department chair's point of view, I think one thing that I started thinking about right away is, okay, we have this new tool. How can we use it to enhance student learning, right? You know, we can all think about what to do with it in terms of preventing cheating. But it's a powerful tool that we can use, right? And being in a department where we're in the middle of revamping the language program, grading is one of the issues that always comes up, right? We have colleagues who teach up to 70 students a semester, and as those of you who have taught language know that we teach communicative approach. We teach our students how to communicate in a language, but our exams don't necessarily reflect that, because if you have to grade 70 exams every 2 weeks, fill in the blanks and multiple choice is where you go, because that's what makes it feasible. And so when ChatGPT appeared, I thought, well, can this be the solution? And so I contacted Jonathan Graziola, the head of class IT, who is another person that I wanted to thank, even though he's not here. And I asked him, like, hey, do you think it can do this? And Jonathan has since then become an honorary member of the Spanish department, because he has worked tirelessly for a year and a half, even though it's not part of his job, so it's all over hours. And I get emails from him at 6 o'clock in the morning, even today, with like, here's another file, test it out, to create what we now call Project Isidore. And I'm not going to get into details. I'm just going to describe it with a couple of sentences, but it's something that we can share with everybody in the room and everybody, all the people that you know. Basically what Jonathan created is a Python application, which ChatGPT tells me means computer program, that uses OpenAI's latest models to grade student writing, right? And we're talking about grading sentences. It identifies errors, provides feedback, and deducts points or assigns a grade. Now, how does it work? How is it different from just working with ChatGPT online or with Copilot or with Gemini? It's a program that you download and install on your computer. And that means that, first of all, you have control over student data, and so you can abide by privacy laws, right? So everything is, it connects to OpenAI, but it's run locally. And so none of the information you use is used to train the programs. Nothing is stored, right? It's all there. We still have to go through FERPA and make sure that whatever you use is anonymized, and you have consent if you're using it for research, but it's a totally different story, right? So basically, once you have the app, you give it a rubric, you give it an assignment prompt, and it grades it. It's not perfect yet. We're still working on it, but the great thing about it is that it not only connects to OpenAI, it also connects to whatever you have on your computer, whatever you have access to. I mean, whatever you give it access to. So you can upload grammar explanations specific to your language, specific to the assignment. You can also use student writing samples from the past, if you have consent and they're anonymized, to give it more information about what kind of mistakes it's looking for, what it means that something is a mistake in a language, and how to correct it, and how to provide feedback. It operates in 26 different languages, including every single language included in the symposium. So you can customize it. The rubrics are customizable. Everything is customizable. There is an easy README file, and what I love the most about it, and this was Jonathan's doing, is that it's an open source resource, right? We can share it with anybody, you can share it with anybody, and you can modify it as you want. You can upload an improved version of it so that other people in the world can work with an improved version. People in the same language can share ideas about how to explain grammar better to get better accuracy. Because right now, I don't know how many of you have tried. I have tried using ChatGPT for grading, and it's really bad at it. It will correct the sentence, but it's not very good at identifying the type of mistake. This is what this app will be able to do. It will take some work, but we'll be able to do that. And so I'll be happy to talk about it later with whoever is interested and give more details. But I just wanted to, first of all, thank Jonathan for helping us with this, and also explain why, how this started, right? Because this idea of having a tool that we can share with other people is the same idea that I had for the symposium. We have a forum. We're all language teachers or literature teachers. We all have the same goals in mind, and we can all learn from each other. And I hope that this is what is going to happen over the next 2 days. So I see that Dean Lindenmeyer got here. Adele, thank you again for supporting this project and this initiative. And I'll let you do the honor of inaugurating the symposium.
Thanks, Veronika. I realize you're anxious to get to the real substance of this wonderful conference, symposium. A huge shout out to Dr. Ryjik, who has just exhibited such initiative and creativity. And Project Isidore, really the idea was hers. It took a team of us, but I hope that it becomes widely used and really impels the study of languages and literatures outside of English and Anglo-British even farther. I just came from the keynote address of an event today taking place right across our rainy campus, the Villanova Flag and General Officer Alumni Symposium. It was a room in the Connolly Center filled with handsome young people in dress whites and senior officers, alumni of Villanova who've led the United States military forces around the world. And the keynote address was by Admiral Samuel Paparo, class of '87, commander of the U.S.'s Indo-Pacific Command, Indo-Pacific Fleet. It became clear to me, a Russian language and literature major, by the way, in college, and an expert in Russian history. It became clear to me from his speech as I was trying to connect these two events that educating Americans who tend to be insular and complacent to be proficient in languages other than their own, whatever that language is, not only is personally important and enriching, but actually really extremely important to the security of our country. We live in an extremely dangerous time. In my long life, I don't remember a time of such world disorder since the end of the Cold War. 35, 40 years ago, we had in this country well-trained experts in what we used to call area studies, where proficiency in Arabic, Chinese, Japanese, Russian, French, whatever language, was considered part of the United States' armament. Part of our strength was our ability to not just deal with international partners and enemies, but understand them, understand their culture, speak to them in their own tongue. We have let that lapse, in my view. we won the Cold War, and therefore the world now speaks English, and you can buy a Starbucks coffee in Shanghai, and we don't need that old stuff anymore. You, as language and literature professors, instructors, scholars, are really important to the security of this country. And I really applaud your work. I hope that AI, tools like Project Isidore, makes your work more, it makes your routine work easier, so you can continue to expand the horizons, the cultural and mental and linguistic horizons of Gen Z. Welcome to Villanova. I'm interested in hearing the first papers. Thank you all for coming. Thank you for bringing rain, which we really badly needed here as well.